Oh my gosh. Photography? You want to know about photography? Sure, right up my alley. So I get asked all the time tons and tons of questions. So I'm going to pick my top 10 today and cover them. Well, it all started years and years ago when I was a wee one. No, but really. When I was in elementary school, my sister and some of our friends got together and we wanted to make a newspaper. And I was the photographer for the newspaper, and I begged my mom to buy me a Polaroid camera, you know, so I could just take the picture, snap it out, make a copy of it. That's how much I knew about newspapers, right? I even took a field trip to a local paper to see how it worked. And I'm not talking about like a school field trip. I'm talking about some kids after school one day. It was like 6 of us, and we go to the local newspaper. Yeah, I was a nerd like that, but that's okay. That was my first introduction to even thinking about photography. From there, I started, you know, getting interested in it again when I went to the Savannah College of Art and Design. I went there for a year, and one of the classes that I took was Intro to Photography, and it was amazing. It was all about the darkroom. We shot black and white film. I learned the basics. I learned about being a photographer. I learned about photography, and that kind of opened the door for me. Time went by, and I got married a few years later, and I moved to Alaska. Now, as you can imagine, there isn't a lot to do in Alaska, but it's a beautiful place. It's a beautiful place, tons of outdoor stuff to do, and I started taking pictures of landscapes and you know, details around the town, and it just turned into something amazing. I then was like, hey, maybe I could do something with this. And I started photographing my friends, and you know, that just kind of opened the door for that for me. I actually got my first client from a friend. It was actually a friend of mine who was gracious enough to let me practice on her, and I think she paid me. I'm pretty sure she paid me some money for some photos, and they were not good, and I feel bad, but they were not good. They were horrible. They were pretty bad, but we all start somewhere. So yeah. I then that led to my first paying client that was not a friend. I actually had my equipment set up in my house. I had studio lights, all that kind of stuff. And the cable guy came over, and he was like, "Oh, you're a photographer?" And I'm like, yeah. So he's like, "Oh, yeah, I need some pictures." And so I'm pretty sure I had a website then. I'm very business oriented, so I was like, I'm gonna get all the back end stuff done. I'm gonna have a website, you know, and some little cards. I'm gonna do that. Even if I'm not good at what I do, I'm gonna have that stuff. So, you know, he booked me, and it was him, his wife, and his 2 kids. We did a photo shoot, and those pictures weren't good, but they loved them. It was so funny because at the time I didn't know how to get the blurry background, but I knew I wanted that, so I put that on the picture in Photoshop. It looked horrible. Horrible. If I can find it, I'll post it. But it was horrible. So that was my first client. And you know, from there it was kind of slow at first. You know, I photographed friends, I photographed the people in my church, and those were nice. And then we moved to Charleston, South Carolina, and I was like, how am I gonna find clients here? I'm having to start all over again. And Charleston is really where I honed my skills and really developed my business. I ran a few ads I'll say that. And I got quite a few clients that way. And then I blogged. When I started blogging the free and reduced shoots, I started getting business from those blog posts. People would share them, but the pictures would also show up in Google searches. And that really helped me, you know, get business and get practice. And my skills just transformed. I also started taking some classes at the Charleston Center for Photography, and that's where I really learned natural light photography and Photoshop, Lightroom, things like that. I took the classes and I used those skills, and I just got better and better and better. And then I moved to Boston, just got even better, and now I'm in Puerto Rico, and I'm doing more of an artistic thing. I'm not taking so many clients and focusing more on, just doing what I love. Now for some more questions. So, let's see. What am I known for? I am known for having clean edits and sharp images. That's sort of my style. It's just really clean photos that are technically good, and yeah, that's what I do. My favorite thing to shoot would be faces. I love faces, so I love photographing from like here on up and just really focusing on the person's face and their features and their eyes. I love that. I could shoot that all day, every day, and I'd be perfectly happy. So I am a military spouse, and so we move a lot, and one of the hardest things to do is find new clients. I basically have to rebuild my business every 2 to 3 years, and so I've kind of learned some tips and tricks that can help you in any situation. The #1 way to find clients is from referrals, and you get referrals by networking with people who will get you clients in the door. Look for hair and makeup people, because they're going to help you at your shoots, and you're giving them business because you're having the shoot. They're giving you business when they find new customers who are like, hey, you know the photographer? She's like, oh, I sure do. Monica Day over there is fabulous. There you go. You can also look for, like clothing vendors, because people need awesome clothes for their photo shoots. So, yeah, that's a good one. Let's see. Jewelry, anything like that. Just get the word out. Talk to people. If you go to church, talk to your church members. Talk to everyone. Just tell everyone what you do. And once people start to know, they can start thinking of you when it's their time. Now that there's Facebook, well, I sound old when I say that, but Facebook makes it easy to get information out, so Facebook is an excellent place. Instagram, I get a lot of teen clients from Instagram, and so that's a great place to network and all that good stuff. So yeah, just get yourself out there and talk to people. They may not need a photographer right away, but they might know somebody who does, and eventually they'll come around to you. Okay, so if you're new to photography and you really want to be serious about it, I would say always try to improve your skill. That's #1. Always try and get better, because you need to improve and you need to be able to see how you can get better. You need to also find out your style. That's what's going to set you apart from the next photographer. There are tons of photographers. So you want one, people want somebody who's different, and you want to be that person. So find your style and then just continue to improve. Some of my favorite photographers are, so my first one, Sally Mann. Sally Mann is amazing. She's an amazing photographer, and she's quite controversial. That's one of the reasons why I love her, but she's really talented. You should look her up. She is probably most known for her family portraits that are completely outside of the box and completely outside of the norm, and they're not what you would expect, but they're absolutely beautiful. Annie Leibovitz. She is very current, actually. You see her work a lot, and I can tell. The more you see it, the more you'll be able to tell her stuff. She did a great series for Disney, their villains, and she may have done some other ones, but the Disney villains, it's amazing. I love it. She used like real celebrities and turned them into Disney villains. Amazing. Ann Geddes. Before I started photographing people even, I was a fan of hers. I loved her baby as art type of thing, and that's probably why I really wanted to get into photography, because I loved how she made people babies just look so beautiful. And so yeah, she's an amazing one. So if you're brand new to photography and you want to know where to start, you need to start with light. The number one thing that you need to really learn and really get is light. A well-lit photograph is really what makes the difference. Your picture can be a little grainy or even, I don't know, a little bit out of focus, but if it's lit well, people overlook that stuff. So learn lighting, learn how to find the light, learn how to work with the light, just learn how to look for it. So light, number one. You also want to learn to shoot manual. That goes along with your lighting, because if you don't have enough light, you need to know how to manipulate the camera to capture the image that you have in mind. So learn how to take your camera out of automatic and learn how to use the settings and shoot those images down to exactly how you want it. You want to get your images as close to perfect as you possibly can in the camera, so that you don't have to take it and edit it to look how you wanted it to look. That just leaves you, a nice clean palette to work with in Photoshop, so that you're able to get the real image that you want. You also want to be intentional with your photos. If you approach a photo shoot or even just one photograph without a clue of what you want to shoot, then you're not going to know what you're going to get. It's just random. Be deliberate. Deliberately know what you're trying to capture. Have a goal in mind, and then learn how to get that goal. Learn how to reach that. Learn how to capture that photograph. So when the next time comes, you know how to do it automatically. Some great free resources for learning about photography. One of them is Creative Live. It's an amazing website where you can watch free workshops, and as long as you watch them live or even the replay at night. They are amazing. You can also purchase if you want, but if you don't, you don't have to. You can watch it live for free. The website that I write for is called Digital Photography School. Be sure and check them out. They are geared towards the beginner photographer. So it's a great place full of resources for all things photography. You can also take your class in high school or in college. And I mean, if you go to public school, it's free, so take that class. If you're in college, you're already having to pay tuition, so make one of those classes, a photography class. So, just there's so many resources out there, and, find them, grab the opportunity while you can. You can also look around the community. A lot of communities have either free or low-cost photography classes. So, it's always nice to actually go into a classroom and be able to ask the instructor questions as opposed to, just looking on YouTube for some stuff. So definitely check those out. And also reach out to local photographers who, want to help mold young minds. Ask them for help. Ask them if you can shadow them. A lot of times we're looking for assistance to go on shoots with us. So definitely reach out. Don't be afraid to do that. Alright, that's it. If you have any more questions, feel free to let me know. Comment below, send them to me, whatever you want. I'll do my best to answer them for you. And thanks for sticking around. Oh, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to visit monicadayphoto.com, monicadoes.com, and find me on Instagram.